Hey everybody, it's me, Valerie R. Brooks with Valerie R. Brooks Real Estate and Business Academy. This subject that we are going to embrace today is a subject that has been huge my entire life. But I want to start off with a question for you guys. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately wanted to shrink once you got in the room? Has that ever happened to you? I remember once I was invited to this really, really high-end gala. I wasn't excited about going because I'm an introvert, and we'll get into that later. But I was happy to have the invitation. So I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I had a beautiful royal blue dress. And my escort, my guy, my love of my life at that time came with me. And of course, all the way there, he told me I was so beautiful. But the moment I walked in the room, I did not feel beautiful. I felt like I wanted to shrink because everybody in there had on black. From the women to the black tuxedos, I was the only one in there with royal, beautiful blue on, and I wanted to shrink. And I didn't shrink though, because I didn't walk into the room, but it was more or less the meet and greet area, and it was full. And I was so shocked because different people walked up to me and said, "What a beautiful dress. What a beautiful dress. What a beautiful dress." So immediately that made me relax. Okay. It did not mean, now walking into that room did not mean I was socially awkward, or it did not mean I was shy, because that's what people think about introverts. So today we're going to talk about the quiet power of introverts. I've had so many introverts in my life to approach me and ask me questions, because once they would find out that I'm an introvert, they would go into shock. A very special friend that I just met recently said the same thing to me. "I am so shocked that you're an introvert." So first, let me explain introverts in a very, very short term. We are not quiet. I'm sorry, we are quiet. We are not shy. We are not socially awkward. Okay? We are just who we are. We are intentionally aligned with our energy and our interactions, and we thrive in spaces that align with our values and our purposes. That's how we are. We're not the loudest in the room, but we love the loudest in the room because we don't jockey for conversation, and that takes away from pressure for us. So I will get into how I love all of my extroverted friends a little bit later, because I took a survey of the people in my life, and there is only one other introvert in my life. Everybody else are extroverts. My mother was an extrovert. And I used to always say to her, "Mom, I don't want to go. Mom, I don't want to be around all these people." And she was so beautiful and so live. And she was like, "Come on, baby, don't say that. Don't say that you don't want to be around people." I didn't. That didn't mean I didn't like people. I just didn't want to be around people. So I have been designated for a long time. I've been named the quiet disruptor. So I had an opportunity, and I'm going to give it today. Hey, Margaret. Yeah, that is true. You know me, Margaret. You know me. And this today is a fast-paced, extroverted world. Am I correct? It's fast-paced and it's extroverted. And sometimes we introverts feel like we're not quite fitting in. That doesn't mean, again, we're socially awkward. It doesn't mean that we're shy. It's just that the world seems to reward the bold, the loud, and the outgoing, often overlooking, the quieter strengths that lie beneath the surface. But the truth is, introverts, we possess unique set of superpowers, okay? And those superpowers strengthens meaningful, impactful, on relationships, both personal and in the professional settings. And that speaks to me too. Now, my journey to understanding the quiet power of introverts began with a moment of unexpected connections. One of my, I guess you could say, one profound moment in my journey. After one of my speaking engagements, a woman approached me surprised. She said, Valerie, during your speech, you said that you're an introvert. She said, I would have never guessed. Um, and she said she couldn't match the energetic, dynamic speaker that was on stage with the quiet, reserved person she had met and that she had seen in other places. She asked me for some one-on-one time, and she wanted to walk away from the session feeling amazing. And she did walk away from the session feeling amazing, and she is now one of my students. LaPronda, I know you're an introvert. You and I have discussed this many, many times. And that is another reason, LaPronda, that I am here, because the moment with that young lady that said to me, Valerie, I just thought you were, she said, I'm giving you a compliment. You're charismatic. And I mean, you're just a light. And I said, introverts have lights. We have lights, but we purposely use those lights at different times. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well, because that moment stayed with me because it was highlighting something very profound. The assumptions that people make about introverts, and they often miss the depth, the intentionality, I hope I said that word right, and the power we bring to the table. So again, that's why I want to talk about this, because it's time to rewrite the narrative for us introverts. We think that we can't be successful in business, but indeed we can. And in so many settings, we're the quiet ones. And I've even had people call me out and say, Valerie, you've not said anything in this room. And once I make my statement, everybody is looking like, you said that? Yeah, I said that. It's because I'm not speaking doesn't mean that I'm not thinking. What you don't know is I'm constantly thinking. Thinking is what we do. Okay? And let me just say this to you guys. This conversation is not just for introverts, but it's also for those who love, work with, or lead introverts. So this should help you, because the combination of introverts and extroverts make the world go round. I'm consistently surrounded by extroverts, and it helps me tremendously, because I am not one that will jockey for conversation. And being around my friends that just light up the room and take over the room, it's wonderful for me, because I get an opportunity to be there to hear how others think, and then I can live in my quiet space while I'm at the table full of extroverts. I love that. Okay. Now, introversion is simply a way of processing the world, of how we process the world. And it's where we draw our energy and how we engage with our environment. Because for introverts, energy often comes from moments of reflection, deep conversation, and meaningful one-on-one connections. I did not know I was an introvert while I was in college, but my best friend at the time said, you're just too deep for me. You know how to laugh and you know how to have fun, but you're always thinking. And when we go out, I'm meeting different people, and you're sitting at the table maybe with one person for the entire night, whether it's a man or a woman, it's one person, and you guys are engaging so deeply. And do you know what? I have found that for me, that works. Even when I'm networking, guys, and this is for you introverts that are afraid of networking. When we're networking, one deep, meaningful conversation can lead to many, many more connections. Okay? That blue dress that I wore to that gala, I think I've shared this before. I got a call from a judge. She's been a judge for so long. I've sold her house since this meeting. But I got a call from her and she said, Valerie, I just want to tell you that whenever there's a popular gala or an event, I often look for that event so that I can see what you were wearing. And that blue dress that you had on was stunning. And, that made my heart just go pitter patter. But guess what? I am her realtor and I sold several of her properties. And that's because I'm different. I was quiet, but my dress spoke for me. We have other qualities that speak for us, okay? Little things like that. But again, it just means that we reflect, we have deep conversations, and we recharge by stepping back. Not because we're afraid of the spotlight, but because our power thrives in thoughtful, intentional spaces. People think that because I'm successful, and thank you, God, and I am very proud to say that I am, that I have been maybe loud and boisterous throughout my life, and I have not. I'm very quiet, not shy, but very quiet. Now, one important truth about being an introvert, if you compare yourself with an extrovert, that's not a good thing. It's not only unhelpful, it's unfair. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Introverts and extroverts aren't better or worse than one another. They're just wired differently. We're just wired differently. And the difference is where the magic happens. Most people, again, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, most people are maybe attracted first to extroverts because, again, extroverts light up the room. They love environments that are loud, that are fun, that are constantly moving, and they regroup around energetic places, whereas we regroup in very quiet spaces alone, and it's okay. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge something else that goes along with that. I genuinely cherish my extroverted friends. They bring energy, they bring vibrancy and spontaneity in my life. Quality, I deeply admire their qualities. Now, most of my friends, it took them a minute to understand me, but once they understood me, the relationship even blossomed. Just because I'm not talking doesn't mean I'm not thinking. And the fascinating part about that, that it creates a beautiful balance. When I'm with my extroverted friends, they're often taking the lead in the conversation. Again, I don't jockey for conversation. They fill the air with stories, and believe me, I have many. I only share them when I'm asked to share. And for me, that's perfect. It gives me the space to listen, to reflect, and I always contribute in my own thoughtful way. And the beauty of being around my extroverted friends is that they understand when I leave early, they understand that my brain is really drained. It's not in a bad way. It's not in a good way. It's just a way that introverts receive and give back. We have to give, but in order to become rejuvenated again, we have to give back to ourselves. We give to the people we're around, the people we love, the people we're speaking to, the people that we're teaching, but we end up having to give back to ourselves. And that's the kind of understanding I have with the extroverts around me. And if I don't, that's not an issue for me. And it shouldn't be an issue for you. I just want to bring light to introverts. And I know this is helping extroverts who lead introverts or other introverts who lead introverts. Introverts bring a distinct, powerful energy to the table. Very, very different. And one that is, again, is often underestimated. Again, I've been called the quiet disruptor because I've been treated really in so many different ways. And this is how the world works. This is just how the world works. I've been in several places, and quiet. And I could tell that people looked at me like, what are you doing here? You're not saying anything. And then once they find out after a conversation that I do have power and that I do know how to talk, I'm not a deaf mute, I know how to talk, I get a different treatment. So that's why I want to bring light to introverts. Just because somebody is sitting back quiet, don't estimate them, underestimate them. You'll be making a huge mistake. Um, as an introvert, again, I've come to realize that we possess inner lights. And I'm going to share why I say that. I remember this was just a month ago when I spoke in front of about 100 women, and I received a standing ovation. I was really happy about that. And one of the attendees later shared with me that the person who spoke on that stage was different from the person she saw sitting down afterwards. And she said, I saw a distinct difference. And I responded by saying to her, that person on stage was there for you all, for everybody. And when I give my all. But the person who sat down was there for me. And this highlighted the duality of my existence as an introvert. I can be vibrant and engaging in a public setting, yet I also need to honor my introverted nature by retreating into solitude afterwards. And I hope this is really resonating with introverts. I didn't know I was an introvert growing up, but I've learned and I've seen where it applies to me. I love interacting with other introverts. We get each other. Um, and we don't ask each other questions that most people who do not understand introverts will ask. So, in essence, being an introvert doesn't mean we shy away from the spotlight. Instead, it means that we approach these opportunities with intention. We're fully aware that our light shines bright, but when I am in tune with my purpose, I embrace both of the lights, the outer lights and the inner lights. Okay. The outer lights are for those that I serve, for those that I help. I know my purpose and I know my intentions, and I'm intentional about my purpose and intentional about my legacy. So, for those introverts that have many, many questions about whether or not you can succeed in business, you can. Just embrace the joy of connection and the necessity in your solitude, knowing that both are very, very integral to your journey. Okay. Now I do see some questions, and I'd like to answer them. Question number one: uh, How do I not fear the spotlight as an introvert? It's hard for me to step into the noise. I like that. I like how you designed that, Kiana. Kiana? Yes, Tayana. I'm sorry. Um, I can't tell you that I'm 100% there because I have my moments. But I have learned to shine without stepping into the noise. Um, For many introverts, I've learned that the thought of stepping into the spotlight can feel very overwhelming, and it can drain us before it even happens. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether it's leading a meeting, whether it's speaking on stage, or simply being the center of attention in a conversation. I've been there. I know how it feels. And even earlier in my career and just recently, I dreaded the pressure to compete with louder, more extroverted folks that were going to be in the room. I've been on many panels where I didn't answer any questions because the extroverted people on the panel took over. And in most situations, the moderator would have to curve themselves over to me and say, Valerie, we haven't heard from you. And then I would get a chance to speak. But I have noticed, if I don't speak that much on stage, I will have more visitors after the stage to ask questions because they did not hear from me. But I'm learning to speak up more um, as I discovered all of this. I did discover that I did not need to compare. Okay. And instead, I learned not to compare, but to prepare. Okay. Authenticity. Authenticity. You guys know I preach authenticity all of the time and meaningful connections. If you go that route, it will help to subside your feelings of being overwhelmed. Let me give you an example. Rather than trying to work the room at a networking event, I think I said this earlier, focus on one or two intentional conversations. The quiet focused approach, it allows you to build genuine relationships. Again, quant- quality over quantity, correct? Quality over quantity. And those relationships that I have built through quiet interactions, they've turned into referrals, partnerships, lifelong clients, and friends. I hope that answered your questions, Tayana. Cynthia, I thought that confidence meant being loud. And how do I become a quiet disruptor? Um, let me see how I can answer that. I thought that confidence meant being loud, and how do I become a quiet disruptor? I built my career in real estate by proving, I think, that quiet confidence is powerful. For instance, I'll give you a great example. When I negotiate deals, I focus on listening. I don't try to be a shero. I don't try to stump and make the other person look bad or anything like that. I observe, I reflect, and speak only when it adds value. And now, yes, a lot of people have taken quietness for I can speak all over this young lady during my negotiations. But when it all comes down to the bottom line, this is the way it is. So, this approach has allowed me to uncover what my clients and even my competition truly need. It gives me the upper hand without needing to dominate the room. I don't have to dominate the room. I am going to speak back to you with my knowledge, with my reflection, and with what makes sense because I didn't take up the room with all of that conversation. Now, that could have been an introvert or an extrovert talking. I don't know, but I let them get it out. That's what most people like to do. They love to get their conversations out. And in many of my courses, I've taught that. You're not the main person. Let the other people speak. It's okay. So, who says an introvert can't win in real estate and or business? And as a 100% introvert, I've proven that success isn't about being the loudest voice, Cynthia. It's about being the most thoughtful and intentional one, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Okay? Karen, I overthink and totally do not like social media as it intimidates me. So how can that work? Let me read that again. I overthink and totally do not like social media and it intimidates me. Karen, me too. I'm in that same boat. Until I learn, okay, Valerie, be authentic. Because when I first started using social media, it was so overwhelming. The endless posts, constant updates, and the pressure to have thousands, if not millions of followers. It made it seem like a noisy, intimidating space where I just did not belong. But then I realized something. I didn't need to belong in all of those spaces. And I've never had the desire to belong. I didn't need to compete with the noise. And what drew people to me in real life is my authenticity. I keep preaching authenticity, integrity, and I'm very thoughtful, my thoughtful approach. And I figured, okay, that can work online. And my social media manager, she is bringing me out more and more, but she comes to me with different ideas. But she has learned me and she curves my social media to where it works with me and who I am. I'm not going to get up and show you how I dress every day. That's just not who I am. Uh, and I get compliments on the way I dress. And the young lady that does my facials, Valerie, you need to show what you have on every day. I'm really not dressing for you guys. I'm dressing for me. So the authentic me is just coming online, sharing. This is who I am. So when I started showing up as my true self, Karen, and sharing insights and my experiences, I began attracting the people that I want to attract. So now the surprising part about that, I don't have double digits yet in on my followers. I don't think, no, I do not on any of the social media channels. And but I receive quite a bit of business from social media, and I don't need a massive follower count. Instead, I've built a community of engaged, like minded individuals that only not respect my work, but align with my purpose and my principles. Purpose and my principles. Okay? And this approach has turned what once felt like an intimidating space, like, it's turned into a powerful tool for connection and growth. Uh, Mr. Scott, Val, do you think that introverts are secure in their own personal space? Let me see. Not being observed or vulnerable. But as soon as they're in their place of purpose, a switch is turned off and I think he wants to finish his question, but I think I understand it. Do you think that introverts are secure in their own personal spaces, not being observed or vulnerable? But as soon as they're in their place of their purpose, a switch is turned on. I think, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Introverts are very, very secure in their own space. Okay. And I think the introverts are vulnerable, Mr. Scott. Okay, let me read it again because you finished your sentence. Okay. But as soon as they are in their place of purpose and a switch is turned on, and they emerge out of their shell with passion and zeal. But once the switch is turned back off, they retreat back into their shell of introversion. Oh my God, that's a great question. Yes, we are definitely secure in our own space because that's where we thrive, in our own space. Our energy is regrouped in our own space. But once we are in our place of purpose, like this space right now for me, Sylvester, is intimidating to say the least. But I'm in my purpose and I'm intentional about what I want to share with those that want to align with me. I really don't care if it's one person that's on this live or whether it's 100 people. I always get comments afterwards, and I've gotten followers after this. So once we're in our place of purpose, yes, that switch is turned on, but we have a light within. And what was in Maya Angelou's, uh, her quote was, nothing, I may not have it quite right, but nothing is more powerful than the light that shines from within. So yes, after we are in our purpose, whether it's teaching, uh, being a teacher, whether it's been a coach, whether it's been a real estate broker, whether it's been an entrepreneur in business, we're out there serving and sharing our gifts. But when we come back in, we share our gifts with ourselves because we need time to ourselves and we need to regroup. And when we emerge, we're back into that powerful person that the people that you're serving and working with and for need. I hope that answered your question. Uh, Another Karen, or this may be the same Karen. I really thought that you had to be I've already read that one. The loudest in the room to be most successful. Was that a question that was very similar? Well, I'll answer it again. I can't remember. I've talked about this quite a bit. Uh, yeah, the loudest in the room does not equate success. Success in real estate and business isn't about dominating. Okay, it's not about dominating conversations. It's about delivering results. Delivering results. People want results, whether they're introverts, extroverts, or self-verts, whoever they are, whoever you're working with, they want results. And some of the most successful and powerful agents and leaders that I know are quiet powerhouses. They focus on what matters, they prepare, and they execute meaningful relationships. Now, in my journey, I've closed deals worth millions, and not because I was loud as Karen. I've coached others to do the same, but it was because I was prepared. And whether it's through meticulous market research, which you got to think, we like spending time to ourselves so we can do research and we can write our courses. I have 26 courses. Well, no, it's 28 now, courses in our membership that took me years to cultivate, but it only took me a year to write them out, you know? And that was in 2021 to 22. And I wrote it when I didn't have any memory and my mother was sick. So when we reflect and we retreat, we do different type of work, okay? So quiet leadership oftentimes create trust because my girlfriend just told me yesterday, you don't tell anything. You don't say anything, but you're a great conversationalist. 26 years. I've never spoken about a client, never shared their business with other people. And I've oftentimes had clients to say to me, Valerie, you know so much about me, but we don't know much about you. And I always say, this is about you. It's not about me, but you can ask me any questions that you want. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I'd love to invite you to our membership. It's a one of a kind, y'all. This platform is designed to help you build, shift, and continuously transform your business and your life. And we have a full library of courses from building, shifting, transforming, building teams, hiring assistants, to teaching your buyer's agents how to work for you. And it's affordable. It's designed to grow with you. And we will have several leaders in the industry that will come in and share with you. It's great. I'm loving every minute of this. Now check out the link that my team has put in, and I would love to see you there. But I do want to close with saying my team is built with, I would say, two extroverts and no, I would say two introverts, and the rest are extroverts. And it's a delightful screen on Zoom or when we meet in person because we come together and we make it happen. So whether an introvert or whether an extrovert, just be intentional about making it happen. Guys, get in touch with me. Join the membership. Oh, wait a minute. I see something else in chat. Hang on. I thought that. Okay. Maybe I did not. Okay. I guess. How do we balance both worlds to become successfully and complete, both intrinsically and extra? I can't even pronounce that. Extrinsically. That means inner and outer. You guys know I'm having a trouble with my words, but it's coming. Pray for me, guys. I'm getting back. My brain is connecting more and more each day. But we discussed that earlier. We have lights that shine within and lights that shine outside of ourselves. But it makes us up. We're complete individuals. Not saying the extroverts are not. We're talking about introverts today. And we are complete. We know when to turn it on and to turn it off. We know for our own well-being when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Some of us need more and more work, more and more courses on how to work with themselves being introverts. Again, we're not shy. We're not socially awkward. We're intentional. We're intentional. So I would love for you all again to join my membership so we can all. Oh, guess what? Inside our membership, we have a private community. It's not on Facebook. It's not on Instagram. We have our own system, and it only consists of us, all of us. It's a place where we engage. It's a place where we share. It's absolutely the bomb. Am I telling my age saying the bomb? Yeah, my niece told me the other day, don't say that, Auntie, the bomb. But I'm saying it. It's the bomb. Okay, that's the introvert in me. I may say the wrong things sometimes to others that are extroverted, but I'm okay with that. Now, have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I did. I can go on and on about introverts. And I'm going to, I don't know what my subject is next week because I'm starting to get more people asking questions and listening to people more intentionally to share about different subjects. And I'm going to tell you something. I only share subjects that I know about. And many, many subjects I do know about. And my main subjects are real estate, business, and transformation. Okay? And it's a lot that goes into all of that. Oh, living in Charlotte. Oh, you said thank you, Valerie. This information was golden. It is my pleasure. I'm enjoying this. And if you guys have anything else that you want to discuss, can I say hit me up? My niece tells me that is tells my age too, but hit me up. I just think that sounds so cool, you know? I'll see you next time.